Hello, this is Virtualis the Chess Noob, learning and having fun with chess. This is part 2 of undeserved winning in the game of chess. One of the risks in doggedly pursuing a position where checkmate is possible is that we can get tunnel vision. I've previously made a video cautioning this phenomenon as we approach mate in one attacks. We can easily lose sight of the rest of the board and make a massive blunder. This happened to me in this game, but as we'll see, there is a twist at the end. Please enjoy. I had the white pieces in the game. Let's have a quick look at the review. And very interestingly, I won this game with a very low accuracy. I think 56, opponents somewhat more accurate, but we both had our share of blunders and mistakes, but they definitely played probably the more accurate game. Nonetheless, I won, and the chess.com bot reckons that this was a pretty wild game, and I agree. Let's have a look now at the analysis. So I start with e4, and the opponent plays Owen's defense with b6. The idea, of course, is to fianchetto that bishop. Now, I absolutely don't know the theory here. I generally don't particularly like sort of modern, hyper-modern type systems. However, when there's an opportunity, try to take the center, which is what I did. Interesting, they played e6 here, which is still a book move. Does cede some advantage to white. Not that I would know how to particularly take advantage of that. So take the center with pawns. Now develop knights. So knight c3. There's the fianchetto bishop as expected. And here I thought, I think I might just have an opportunity just to make that bishop look a little bit silly. So I decided to play a d5 right away. Now, I thought this was probably going to be the case in analysis, just rather than doing silly stuff in the middle of the board, develop pieces, develop the other knight was apparently the best move. Still, d5 was definitely not a bad move. Bishop b4, which was interesting. Here I asked the question, what are they going to do with that bishop? So Stockfish preferred unpinning the knight. So they capture, I capture back. I was potentially okay here, thinking that I would just end up getting a big center, though obviously having a fairly ugly pawn structure on that side. They capture, capture back, and of course that is now jamming that fianchettoed bishop on b7. Knight f6, pawn forward to c4. They short castles. I thought better develop a knight. I really wasn't sure what was the best move here. So apparently queen here was good. I wasn't so sure of that, having it all lined up there like that. Opponent plays rook e8 with check, which is a good move. Block that check with the bishop, setting myself up for short castles as well. c6, I push pawn forward to d7. So apparently short castling here right away would have been better. Knight forward, so knight e4, which was a good move. And here I apparently make the wrong move with short castles. So putting the my bishop on b2, holding that diagonal would have been best. And the reason for that here, yes, is that the opponent has potentially a very powerful move attacking potentially that bishop twice. And basically I'll be losing a piece. So that's why there was the blunder there. However, they missed that, which is good. I now capture back that knight with queen. Fairly happy here. I actually wonder whether or not that was actually a straight up blunder on my opponent's part. Maybe not being able to see the queen. They capture that, but I thought that was potentially okay. Here, I thought I'd be clever and just trade off those rooks. That apparently definitely makes me lose the advantage. So slips the other way. And with these sequence of moves, basically we end up approaching equality, but black is slightly better. And they've got sensible looking pawns, while I've got these double pawns here and the split pawns. Knight a6, I was pretty sure that was probably not the best place for where that pawn would go. I suspected they were trying to open up development for their rook. Here I play rook d1, threatening, so I expected they would have to try to do something about that. And what I saw potentially was I could potentially force a weakness to the kingside pawns providing the defense. So that's what I did. Knight forward, that doesn't do very much. Now, interestingly enough, Stockfish reckons that just whacking that knight was good, again damaging their pawn structure there, and I suppose that bishop is a little bit stuck on this side. But I thought, potential sort of mate in one attack, that's not bad. They would probably push that pawn forward. That's what they did. And here, now Queen C3. I was getting very excited here, looking at sort of potential mate in one attack. They make a very good move with knight e6, now protecting the g7 square. And I thought, okay, I just need to basically now threaten that knight, make it move. So that's why I sort of moved my knight forward, knight f3. They make a one-move blunder, and they're trying to work out what to do with pawn push, the d pawn, but that doesn't really achieve anything. Here I again, my goal was to try to force that knight out of the way. They moved there, and I thought here potentially all I had to do was move that knight, and then that potentially would be checkmate. So anyway, that was what I was thinking. And then I just was really silly. I thought, oh look, threatening the knight, surely that works. And as soon as I moved, I thought, wait a minute, that just straight up hangs that knight. They can capture, and that knight now defends the g7 square again. So I've just basically nerfed my attack. And as soon as that happened, I actually sent a message to my opponent writing, what a blunder. And the opponent sort of wrote back, acknowledging, yeah, and tunnel vision with the mating attack. And I thought, they're not wrong. I did write to them, but it's a bit, I suppose, putting myself down. I don't think they were putting me down, but I felt a little bit sad with that. So, obviously there's an attack on that bishop there, but, I thought I could sort of force a queen to get out of the way. Obviously, that's protected. So queen now moves, move the bishop out of the way. They move the pawn, and here I'm just trying to work out how to prevent checkmate, keep myself in the game. I actually gradually lose my position here. So captures, again, not very good there. That's potentially, of course, a sort of back rank mate. So I thought, give myself an escape square with an attack on the knight. They attack the bishop, so I just move the bishop a little bit out of the way. Knight's still under attack. Attacking here, and here I thought, okay, so that knight takes those squares. Those squares, I have to be a bit careful. That bishop potentially is causing an issue. So I thought, look, let's just move the king forward. I considered that, and you will see that the reason for that is that move creates a potential mate in 7 for my opponent. However, if I play that, the best of that is -9. Basically, we end up probably trading queens, but trading queens is perfectly good for my opponent. And basically that means it's absolutely impossible for me to win if I lose a queen at this point. So opted not to do that. Try to move the king out of the way, keep the options, there we go, there's a check. Move the king out of the way. So, that doesn't work for the knight. So, and here I wondered, are they going to, and actually with that move, I was actually thinking whether or not they will actually just forget, whether they would just forget. So it was a bit of an invitation for a potential error. And look at that, 25 minutes and 4 seconds. Opponent spent 2 seconds making the move, just not seeing the queen, hanging their knight. Obviously, they're trying to use a sort of heuristic. They try to make checks every move because they're forcing moves, except that check doesn't actually work because it's being defended by a queen. It's straight up capture. An opponent, I think, realized what they did and resigned in this position. So from mate in 5 or mate in 4 all the way to +7.5. Good game, GG. My opponent played an unorthodox response to e4 with b6, Owen's defense, or the queen's fianchetto defense. I knew none of the theory and don't know how well my opponent knew it either. We ended up playing a fairly even game up to the middle game. Stockfish evaluation fluctuates wildly a few times on the basis of a few missed tactics on both sides. Then, as I come out ahead with a winning attack, I make a silly one-move blunder, hanging in piece and killing the attack. The evaluation goes from +5 to -7. How did I win? My opponent made a 2-second Botez Gambit when they had mate in 5, giving me the win. Never give up, never surrender. I hope you found this video interesting, and thanks for watching.